at that.
Look
It
at
happened. It worked.
Well, hello there.
Hi there. Yay, we're here. Oh, let me put the chat up. There we go. Now the chat's on. Let me see. Do we want it this way? No, we don't want it that way. We'll go back to that way. There we go.
All right.
That looks better. Happy Wednesday. I want to say happy Thursday, but it's not yet.
I know. You know what? That's funny you say that. I told you I joined a new networking group and I invited someone to join me, and we showed up a day early and stood there and wondered why no one else was there. And thankfully she was gracious and came back today. So when the actual meeting was.
It's tough being blonde.
Sometimes it really is.
It really is. All right, everybody, welcome. Charlotte is not with us today this week. Karen was out vacationing last week, and now we have Charlotte just returning from a vacation. So it is the two of us. Disappeared. Whoop, I disappeared. Oh my goodness. See, that's what happens when I bragged. Yay, we're here.
Yep.
Oh, it's been that kind of a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot going on. And the weather's been so nice. I want to go outside and start. And I can't believe there's weeds already out there. So I want to go weed, and I want to, it's just like so gorgeous right now. It's 70 degrees and sunny.
Yes, it's pretty amazing. We actually were talking about the early spring today, and all of the home maintenance things that will be affected by an early spring. So as an example, the bugs are out already, right? Bugs that we don't usually see for a couple
at least another month or 6 weeks.
Yeah. And then the weeds, as you mentioned, just popped up out of nowhere, which that generally happens anyways when the sun starts shining. But it's just early. So yeah, all your spring maintenance items need to get accelerated for sure.
Yes. In fact, that's what we've been talking about on a lot of our coach calls. They're like, I don't normally do this till April or, mid-April.
Yeah.
We haven't had it. I've had grass and mulch all year, all winter. I mean, we've had one day where it snowed and I went and shoveled my driveway, and it was like maybe this much of snow, but I wanted to go shovel, it didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I know. It's really something. And I think that we're far enough into the year that we probably aren't going to see a winter this year. For a while I was holding out and thinking there might be a late winter, and I'm sure we'll still have some winter weather. We generally do, in the spring. However, I don't believe we're going to see a winter at this point.
No. So any realtors out there right now, or lenders, doesn't matter, right? Reach out to your clients, give them some home maintenance tips. What do we do for spring to get our lawn, nice and green? Or what do we need to do with our AC system? All that kind of stuff. This is it's now.
It is now. Yeah. And all the homes that are getting ready to come to market, they can start working on the projects that hopefully their agents have already outlined for them. I know that our company has already done that, so that they'll be ready as well.
And I've had numerous calls today, one this morning with a gal in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and another one in Connecticut. So it's New Mexico, Connecticut, and they're saying the spring market's already here.
Yeah. Yes. I was having a conversation with a lender today, and they're in their company, the mortgage applications are up, which is great. And the rates started to dip, and so that could add to why that's happening. But they didn't continue to dip. So
nope, they held it to where it's at. Well, yeah, Charlotte was saying last week that she's got one of her lenders that she manages had 40 applications.
Wow.
So it's not, I don't think there's any doubt that, if you're not busy, there's a reason.
Right. You're not following your systems. Right.
Or you just don't have any yet, and hire a coach to help you. I had a brand new client I onboarded yesterday, and she's closing about 25 homes, and she's like, Tanya, I don't have any systems. My clients aren't in a CRM, they're in a box.
Yeah.
So we are fixing that.
That's good. That's good. Well, and if it weren't for my CRM, I wouldn't have some of those new appointments that I have to do some equity evaluations with clients, right? And that just comes down to having that system in place, and having it work well. And I've talked systems, right? And I'm currently reevaluating the system that I use, not what I follow. Those are, our checklists and such. We'll still continue to follow those, but the actual application that we have them in.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's a little more robust than our team needs. And, at some point I thought that maybe we could use all of the branches of it, but at this point, I think we'd be better off with something that's not quite so robust and stronger with what it does, what we need it to do.
Ask Charlotte what she uses.
I will.
And I don't know if it's less expensive, less robust than, I think you're using Asana.
Yes.
Right. So yes, I don't know. At some point, you're probably going to need something robust. So I'd find something that will grow with you versus already be there, but something that might grow.
Yeah. So, it's interesting. I think the thing for us with Asana is it's really meant, it looks to me like it's meant for companies who have more layers than we have, right? So there's the tasks, and then there's those tactics under those tasks, and then there's a whole nother set of tactics under those tactics. And ours are not quite that deep, although they're thorough and super important.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
It's
I used to just do a checklist, right? I mean, I used to have a paper checklist. Not that I want that today, probably not. I would like a system that pinged me when I needed to do something versus me going through 7 files and saying, okay, what do I need to do today?
Right.
Not as efficient. I mean, I still followed it. I mean, I'm aging myself, but we didn't have that stuff back then, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a big deal when Dropbox came by.
Right. Oh gosh, I remember what an improvement that was right after the Palm Pilot. Well, about a year and a half ago, I did a self-induced company audit, and that's part of what was exposed with the Asana thing, is that we had things that were in fragments that shouldn't have been in fragments. Right? So it didn't need to be that way. So we brought some of our tasks in-house and put them under the management of one person, as opposed to, we had a lot of things that we were outsourcing, and they just weren't, I don't want to say, it's not right that they weren't communicating, because the people were communicating.
Right.
The products were not communicating well together.
Right. Yeah. And that has to be all integrated. Otherwise it won't work. I agree.
No,
absolutely.
So is there
a system you still use that when we first started coaching, and it might even been before we started coaching, but is there a system that you use, that you still use today, that you would not give up? Like you would, well, maybe you wouldn't give up one of your grandkids, but close.
I would say honestly, well, our Excel spreadsheet checklist for sure will never go away. I did have a CRM system that I used, and the spreadsheets were a part of that. And that was really a good system. It just became antiquated. So then we went over to this other thing that's just too robust. So to answer that question, I don't actually have a system right now that I simply wouldn't give up, other than my checklist.
Yeah. So when you say your checklist, is that your buyer checklist and your seller checklist, or something different?
So we have, buyer checklist, seller checklist. We have new listing onboarding checklist. We have new buyer onboarding checklist. We have checklists for the different markets. So buyers, when we're in a market where we're shopping with them for 6 months, we have those checklists. Same thing with listings. We have the 30-day checklist. We have the 180-day checklist.
Yes.
So we have all of those. And then we have, post-transaction checklists. So, and those are all the things that go into those applications, right? That create the tasks and identify when they're due and who's responsible for them. But I go back to that, that acronym KISS, right? Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple. Yep. Well, I have a client that about 2 weeks ago, we created a walkthrough checklist, because she'd do a walkthrough. And if she got distracted, she'd forget something, like, oh, I didn't check the garbage in the, is the garbage out of the garage? Or, I mean, it's like things we always remember to do. However, there's that one time where your kid calls or something happens and you're out the door, and it's like, Oh man, I didn't check that.
Yep. Well, like we
Right.
have the checklist to give to our sellers for before the photographer comes, because
Mm-hmm.
A, they don't do this, and B, they have their own distractions too, right?
Right.
So, and
Yeah.
then we have the pre-open house checklist so that, I don't have to pick up dirty socks off the floor.
Well, you still may have to. However, at least you tried to avoid that,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Well, it's just like with the photography checklist was one of my favorites because, I mean, I would be there and I would go around and take the towels off the oven and all that kind of stuff. However, why not empower the seller to say, hey, here's the top things I need you to do, right? Sweep
Yes.
the front porch, take the towels out of the kitchen, toothbrushes put under the sink, like whatever it is that you want the house not to have in the photographs. And sure, the photographer could Photoshop a lot of that out. And why?
And it's almost the same list for open houses and for showing. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really good practice for them
Yep.
to see, like, this is how we want the property presented,
Yeah,
And of course, our team doesn't mind helping out at all.
of course not.
However, it does empower the seller to know, it helps get them in the mindset that this is a product,
Right,
which is very
exactly.
important for the process.
Yes, and yes, there have been plenty of times when I've cleaned toilets and picked up socks and swept the front porch,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I didn't really want to, but of course we do it.
Right.
I don't want you doing it.
No, no. I think we all have stories.
Uh-huh.
For some reason, I was thinking of some of them the other day, and I thought, oh, you just let those go.
Oh no, I'll never let go of the image of me walking in on an orgy. I'll never forget it. It is tattooed on
Yeah,
my frontal cortex.
that would be a hard one to forget.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
wish I was not so new because today I say I would have fun with it. Not that I would jump in. I would have
Right.
fun with what I said to my client, right? It
Right.
would be a more relaxed kind of like, oops, right?
Yeah.
I was just so horrified. And I'm sure, I mean, I went totally red, right? So I'm fair skinned, totally red, right? I didn't know what to say. I walk out with my clients and man, I wish I was more seasoned when that had
Yeah.
happened.
Right. A little
Yeah.
more confidence behind you to be able to sort of have, like you said, have fun or joke with it.
Right, exactly. Had a little bit of snark with it
Yeah.
instead of just horrified. Yeah.
Well, that's a really interesting subject because I try to let agents know all the time that my favorite thing about this business is that I'm still learning. I've never had two
Mhm.
transactions that are the same, right? So for 21 years and still learning, and for them to keep that in mind while they are newer, that the agent who has how many ever years under their belt is experiencing many things for the first time as well.
Sure.
Um,
Well,
and
it's just like COVID. Like that was new. I mean, you and I have been in the business for 20 years when COVID hit.
Yep.
We had no clue what was going to happen. Anyway, I interrupted.
Oh, no,
Sorry.
it's fine. But yeah, it's kind of I think it's a concept that is really important for newer agents to grasp. And I'm just going to say this out there right now: if any agents that are seasoned are not very nice to newer agents, shame on you.
Yeah.
Because that's where I think that pressure comes from, right? A lot
Yes.
of it comes from that. And yeah, newer agents like you in that situation, right? It's the lack of confidence. It had nothing to do with you being new, just your response probably did.
Right. Yes. Yes. Well, I remember when I've been licensed in 3 states. And so my first place I was licensed was Florida. And I was in Tampa. And I was rookie of the year. So in the process of becoming rookie of the year, there was an agent that was all over Tampa, plastered. And I don't know, she may still be practicing real estate. I have no clue, right? But it was 25 years ago. But all over Tampa was this photo, Julia Roberts, right? Your Tampa realtor. And obviously her name stood out, being Julia Roberts. And it was this like blonde, gorgeous 30-year-old photo of Julia Roberts, right, all over Tampa. And then I was doing a transaction with her, and I was so intimidated. And again, my first year. I'm intimidated with working with this big Julia Roberts agent that's all over, billboards all over Tampa. And so we're getting to close, and we, and in Florida, you go to the close and you sit at the closing table. So I'm in the elevator going up to the title company, and sure enough, here comes Julia Roberts into the elevator. And I'm looking, going, "Are you her grandmother?" I didn't want to say anything.
No, no.
It was like a 30-year-old photo.
Real estate.
And it was just like, and then she's like, "Oh, you're Tanya." And I'm like, "Oh, you're Julia." And we shook hands, and she says, "You're a new agent, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am." And she says, "I have to tell you, you're one of the best agents that I've worked with being a new agent." She was so kind to me. I
Oh,
mean, I have nothing but great things. Hey, Charlotte. She's like in the chat.
oh,
She is
good. Hi,
listening.
Charlotte.
So yes, that's what reminded me is like, yes, there are some agents who are like, "Okay, I can walk all over you because you're new," and
Yeah.
or "How dare you be new?" And she was so gracious, and maybe she got away with a few things during negotiations. I don't think so. I mean, she might have.
Yeah.
However, it was nice for her to compliment me and
It was
say, yeah.
very nice. Yeah,
Hmm.
very nice. And along that comment about maybe got away with a few things in negotiations, um, I wouldn't I wouldn't say that. I know you. I don't think
I
that.
know, I
And
know.
and I think that there's a lot more pieces to that puzzle than just
Right.
a newer agent.
Yeah.
There's the
Right.
house, there's the buyers, there's the seller, there's the loan, there's the lender, there's all these other things that all play a part of that too. It's interesting. We had a question today at a networking meeting that I was at about it was a question for the lender, and the question was basically how far down do the rates need to go before I should refi? And the lender was like, that's such a loaded question because there's just so much, that goes to that. It really depends on your
Right.
situation, right? And so that's kind of going back to the same answer that you gave, is, that very same
Yes.
thing.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And being kind to new agents is important.
Yeah.
However, I'm not sure if we want to go down this road. There are some agents that maybe aren't new, but they're very part-time and it's a hobby for them. And I know that my patience was a little bit lower in that scale.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that. Or professionals that don't want to better their skill,
Yeah.
right? As a broker, if I see um, an agent, whether they're new or not, that maybe could use a little bit of help, I always try to find the way
Yes.
to broach that without insulting anyone, right? Because I
Right.
mean, again, back to the fact that I'm still learning, you're still learning, we're all still learning, and that's just
Right.
fine.
And
Yeah.
we're all human and we all need to give grace to a limit, right?
Yeah.
There's limits.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
yes, Charlotte, we miss you. We'll see you next time. And I hope you had a great time. So I know that today we have a little bit of a time crunch.
yes.
So I want you to take a few minutes and promote your event, and then I'll promote mine after yours, but you go first in case you need to sign off.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, I do have 5 minutes left here. I'm pulling it up so I get the date right because we did have to just switch it. So on March 31st, 9 a.m. Pacific time, I am hosting an agent training. Agents from all over the nation are welcome, all over different brokerages. This is not just for our brokerage. And it's called the Relationship Business Model. And it's to help you take strangers to raving fans. And so we'll talk about how to touch bases with people so that we make an impact with them, and then how to carry on with that to actually create a relationship, a long lasting relationship.
There's a system for that.
There's a system for that. There's a checklist, believe it or not.
There's no getting around it, right?
No. So if you want to join, you'll find it on my social media, Rock and Associates Incorporated, or Karen Henson. I'm going to go ahead and do Facebook invite and then also LinkedIn invite, so that I can get it out to some more people. But
Yes. And once this goes onto Facebook, because this will post on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, go ahead and go, Karen, and put that info in the comments.
okay, I will definitely do that
for anybody to see that. So yes, that'll be a great workshop. I encourage everybody to go.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
It'll be really fun. And I think that there's something in it for everyone. So 40 minutes, I think everyone can spare 40 minutes to kind of check in on your systems.
Yeah, for and then build on your foundations, because you might feel, oh, might have a solid foundation for that. However, you might learn something to build on it,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And if you don't have anything, like all your clients are in a file in a box, right? Then we gotta build that foundation.
We will break it down for the steps. Yeah, that'll be really good.
And I laugh because I remember a long time ago, my mom was a realtor for like 40 years. And I remember in the beginning, all of her clients are in a box.
Oh. Well, I will tell you, it's a daunting task getting them from a box into a system. So I understand that if people have let that go for a very long time, why that goes on longer, right?
Yep.
So.
Yes. And then we might need somebody to come and do some data entry, some minimum wage data entry. And then we can go in and fix it and add more things to it.
Exactly. And those are some of the tools that we'll be talking about on that training, right? Like
Awesome.
ways to find solutions to the hurdle. Whatever the hurdle is, we can identify it, and then we're done talking about it. We're going to start talking about, systems to overcome that.
Okay. So we did not plan this, Karen and I. However, I have a workshop at 10 a.m. Pacific right after Karen's, and it was not planned. It was totally coincidental, believe it or not. And mine is, okay, so you've got transactions, or you might need some more transactions. However, with this crazy spring market that's coming up, how do we go from chaotic to calm?
Right.
And so we built on each other.
Yeah, we did accidentally. Imagine that. Great
We've
minds
known each other too long.
Yes, most definitely. Great minds think alike.
Great minds think alike. So, hop on Karen's, then hop on mine. And mine's an hour and a half. However, I always leave that extra buffer depending on how many people sign up. So if it's a workshop where I've had 16 people, it's going to go that long. And I've had workshops where there's been 4 people, in which case we'll probably be done in an hour.
Yeah.
So it'll depend on how many people show up. However, I've had many clients come to me totally chaotic and unorganized and not sleeping. And that's what I do not want to see happen.
Yes, no, not at all. There are ways out there, right, for everyone.
Yep. So we'll talk about it.
So, and on that note, I'm sorry, I do have to jump off. The next meeting, you can probably hear them assembling in the hallway here.
Yep, I do. I hear them. Okay. And that's okay. I'm going to sign off too. So
okay.
We have an early session this time, and in a couple of weeks when we climb back on here, hopefully it'll be all 3 of us.
That'd be awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
very
Karen.
much.
Thanks,
all
everybody.
Right. Bye.
See you, Taylor. See you, Charlotte.